back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin, and we got ourselves another She-Ra video. This time it's going to be an interview with Noelle Stevenson, and this was actually brought to my attention by Anime Hunter over on Twitter, and you guys can send me story ideas, some links, stuff that I might have missed, because I would have completely missed this whole entire interview, but we're going to go through it, and yeah, thanks to Anime Hunter for sending me this. And these kind of interviews are very, what I want to say, they're not really interviews, they're kind of just like commercials, because they never have any follow-up questions. They don't really, you shouldn't be rude to the person you're interviewing, but you should kind of push for more answers. But here we go, from Newsarama. She-Ra and the Princess of Power showrunner promises more mythology, more world building, and more drama in future seasons. And this came out on May 1st, and I didn't want to cover it because I was still doing my episode reviews, and there's some spoilers in this interview. So if you haven't seen any of my reviews or watched the show yet, go ahead and do that, because this is going to totally spoil the whole entire of season 2. Article starts out, spoilers for She-Ra and the Princess of Power season 2 ahead. The full second season of DreamWorks Animation's She-Ra and the Princess of Power debuted on April 26 on Netflix. For those that binge watch, come on, you got to admit it to us, there was a lot to digest. No and no. I'm completely against binging anything. I don't like the idea of just tearing through something and not taking. I wish there was a week in between episodes, but Netflix being what it is, I had to do one a day just so I can stay relevant. And a lot to digest. There was nothing to digest in season 2. There was very little plot, very little story. Digest all the jokes. But okay, we continue on. Series creator and showrunner Noelle Stevenson spoke with Newsarama about some of the highs and lows of the second season as we asked for details, as well as teases for what's to come. Highs and lows? They do nothing but praise the show, so whatever. Newsarama. Noelle, what was your decision behind making season 2 shorter than season 1? It's so funny. Noelle Stevenson. The idea that we are going to be able to bring the episodes out closer together, so there will be less time between episode drops, so people will be able to expect more episodes more often. And this is where you would have a follow-up question. So when is the season 3 coming? Or are the continuing seasons going to be just under 10 episodes? Like, you would need to ask follow-up questions, but they never do anything. They just let her say what she wants, and they never challenge her. Newsarama. So what does the cliffhanger in She-Ra season 2 mean for Adore and Shadow Weaver's relationship? Stevenson. That remains to be seen. I'm very excited for people to see the next step of what happens now that Shadow Weaver has left the Fright Zone and seems to have a little bit of a plan of her own. Shadow Weaver is going to be hugely instrumental for the plot for later seasons. I guess that's a good question, but again, she didn't answer anything. We kind of already figured that out. The real question would be like, yeah, at the end, she's like right there in Adora's room. Like, okay, her plan wasn't just to go check in on her. She's going to want to probably try to do something with her. Newsarama, what can we expect from Adora and Catra's dynamic going forward? They use the word dynamic a lot. I think they mean relationship, but whatever. Stevenson, obviously Catra feels betrayed by Shadow Weaver escaping, which has nothing to do with the question. Even though she's escaping from Catra. Man, let me read that again. Obviously Catra feels betrayed by Shadow Weaver escaping, even though she was escaping from Catra. She's really escaping from the Fright Zone, escaping from Hordak, not necessarily from Catra. Whatever. Shadow Weaver is always throwing a huge wrench into their relationship. Huh? So Shadow Weaver is sabotaging Catra and Adora's relationship? Pretty sure Catra destroyed that relationship all on her own. Episode 11 of season 1, she had the opportunity to do the right thing, and she decided to stay a bad guy and fight her. Shadow Weaver had nothing to do with that, but whatever. She's really good at manipulation and turning good things bad. Good things bad? They're all part of the Hordak's army. They're all part of the Horde. They're all bad. There's no good there. She remains one of the most complicated elements between them. I don't know. I don't really see Shadow Weaver being a thing that's stopping Catra and Adora from being together. I don't know. Do you guys out there think that, oh man, if it wasn't for that Shadow Weaver, they would totally be together right now? But they have their work cut out for them in future seasons. Things aren't going super well, as you've seen in the most recent season. It continues to evolve as we move into later seasons. That was such a non-answer. it kind of puts all the blame on Shadow Weaver, which doesn't make sense, but whatever, Noelle. Newsarama. The last episode of the season, we got to see Bo's dads and explore a bit more of She-Ra's mythology. Are we going to see more in the next season? Stevenson. We're going to see a lot more of the message that the characters went to Bo's dads to translate. It plays out this whole new arc. They are going to try to figure out what that means. I think they were referring to how the dads are talking about, oh, She-Ra, she had a dragon, and they talked about like all this other stuff. And then Stevenson just brings up the stupid data pad thing that Bo had. Like she's answering a question that wasn't asked. They didn't ask, hey, remember when Bo had that thing he brought to his dad? No, that's not the question, Noelle. You just kind of answered what you wanted to say. Newsarama. Are we going to meet more of Bo's family? Stevenson. I can't give too much away about future episodes, but we're going to meet a lot of new characters in upcoming seasons. That's a nice dodge. But my real question would have been, how did two gay men have 13 children? But were they, again, there was people in the comments of the last episode said, wouldn't it be cool if they were kind of like an orphanage for orphan kids from the war? And that's why they don't like war. They hate fighting. They hate all that stuff. Okay, that makes sense. They run an orphanage. It gives their characters more, fleshes them out more. But they just kind of make it sound like these two men had 13 kids. What? I don't want to go into logistics how that's even possible. Newsarama. This season we got some more development from the other princesses in the group. Are we going to see this more? Is there a particular princess you want to explore? What? Who crew? What? Frostia acting like an idiot and then like Glimmer telling her, hey, stop acting like an idiot. That's character growth. Mermista just, again, I apologize for the language, but there is no other way to explain how Mermista acted in season 2. Mermista acting like a bitch the whole time. Perfuma just doing nothing really. Yeah, and that's it. No. Castaneda and Spinderella, they didn't do. They literally had no speaking role. They didn't talk. So who the hell are they talking about? It has to be Frostia, but that wasn't character development. That was just a weird 180 of the character from season 1. Stevenson answers, at the end of the first season, we get to see this come together as they form the alliance. Season 2, we get to see what it means for them. What does it mean for them to be united? And it doesn't always come naturally to them, but it's a lot of fun to be able to play with them and explore their individual dynamics within the group. Again, that didn't happen in season 2. There was no individual dynamics. It felt like more of the same and them acting like idiot kids. She continues, we did get into individual princesses more in future seasons. We even get into characters where the first impression may be one thing, like Frostia and Mermista, but then we get to know them a bit more, then we realize there's much more going on under the surface. Mermista has always been that dismissive freaking jerk of a character, and then Frostia, completely 180ing a character doesn't mean there's some more under the surface. That just means you forgot how to write the character. They're much more weirder than we initially thought. It's just so excited for people to keep finding out more about these characters. Yeah, I would like to know more about these characters, but in a natural way, not in this crazy, oh, remember Frostia was this kind of cold girl who like was a queen of this kingdom and she had all this responsibility. Now she's a goofball cracking ice puns every 10 seconds. That's not developing a character. That's just not knowing how your character is. And Mermista, can someone explain to me how she changed from season 1 to season 2? No, there's no change there. She's exactly the same. Newsarama, I really enjoyed the dynamic, there he goes again, the dynamic between Catra, Glimmer, and Bo this season. Will we get to see more of them interacting with each other? The episode where they kidnapped her and then Catra licked Glimmer in that weird scene, like, okay. Stevenson, it's really something I've been wanting to do because Glimmer, Bo, and Catra haven't officially met each other. They fought and they've been at the same battles. They've been at prom together, but Adora certainly never introduced them. Why would she introduce them? She's the freaking bad guy. Unless she's letting the beans spill that Catra ends up becoming a good guy. But there's no scenario where they get like introduced and, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Bo. Oh, hello, I'm Catra. That's not gonna happen. It just makes so much sense that Catra and Glimmer immediately don't like each other. You think, Stevenson? Oh, she may not just be a force captain, a part of the army that's killing all the people on her planet. Why would they be immediately don't like each other? Stevenson, are you an idiot? I think a lot of that because they are very similar characters in the way that they immediately drive each other crazy. Because they are very similar characters in a way that they immediately drive each other crazy. They're just enemies, two different enemies in a war. Personality-wise, I guess she doesn't like her because Catra's just, so conniving and just because in that episode she's just being, obstinate, just making their journey as difficult as possible. But they're enemies, of course they're gonna not like each other. And Bo is trying to do the same tactic with Catra that he did with Adora, where he thinks he can make a friend with anyone. Catra lets him believe for a little bit before proving him totally wrong, which is hard for him because he doesn't like to be proven wrong that you can't make friends with somebody. Here's the thing, in that episode, I think it was kind of working. If he would have played the Adora angle a little bit more, I think he could have got to her. But Catra was mission or focused. And if anyone's going to bring Catra over to the good side, it's going to have to be Adora. But she kind of already failed in season 1. So it was just, what was Bo supposed to do? Like, he was just talking to her, just having a conversation. So that's just Bo. He's just talkative. So I don't necessarily agree with that. But it's such a fun dynamic to see, especially with Adora absent, what their dynamic is with each other. God, stop saying the word dynamic. You don't get $5 every time you say the word dynamic. Other than that is built around Adora and their individual relationship with her, but she's not there to facilitate that. In future seasons, especially with Catra and Glimmer, I think Glimmer thinks Catra is her nemesis, as we see in the Dungeons and Dragons episode. Oh God, that episode sucked. We see her like Catra is this huge evil villain, and I'm the only one who can stop her. I don't necessarily think that's how Catra sees it, but they do continue to be at each other's throats. She's just a bad guy. Hordak is the main bad guy, not Catra. Sure, you get rid of Catra, but Hordak's still, his army's still functional. It's not like Catra's this linchpin that keeps the whole entire army together. Like, I'm not understanding why Glimmer would think that. Sir, she probably hates Catra because, she was friends with Adora and how she, I guess she can kind of feel like a personal animosity towards her, but I don't get it. And it kind of feels like that question like set up their next question, like this was all planned out, which it probably was. Newsarama, speaking of the D&D episode, will we see more themed episodes like this going forward? No, I hope not, because this is a show about a war that's going on. You don't have themed episodes. That's something that happens in comedy shows or silly shows. It's stupid. It's not something you should have when something serious is supposed to be happening. When you're supposed to be taking this base that's vital to the war effort and everyone's having a big jokey fun time around a table, like making up stupid stories. That's not a theme. That's just terrible writing. I guess if the theme is terrible writing, then I guess it is. Stevenson's answer is, some of my favorite episodes are the experimental episodes where we experiment with the format of the show. What episodes are those? This doesn't experiment with the format of the show. This is just them continuing to act like idiots in a battle. So that's been the format every single time. So there's no experiment there. Instead of being a typical episode with typical structure, we try to change that up a bit with the new dynamic within our show. No. The D&D episode was a great example of that. No, it wasn't. It just gives us a chance to explore these characters in a little bit of a different context. Acting like silly idiot kids, that's the same context they've been in the whole entire show. We get to see how the characters think of themselves and see the world through their eyes, which gives a deepening understanding of who they are. No, they do not see the world this way. They were just playing story time, and they were just making things up. Glimmer does not see the world the way that her little story was presented. Bo doesn't see the world the way that, because they were giving people powers they didn't have. Mermista was making things up like on the fly. I'm pretty sure she was just being, mean and stupid just to screw with everybody. So that's not how she sees the world. So I don't get where the hell she's getting that from, but whatever. Making an episode like that is a bit of a challenge. For example, to the designs, our designers are multiply just because of how different styles we explore in that episode. You mean how you didn't animate anything and how there was very little animation going on in all those fantasies, except for in Bo's. But even then, a lot of the characters just stood there, just their mouth flaps were moving and they did very little movements. So yeah, screw you on that aspect. Yeah, you designed some things, but there was like no detail except for in Glimmer's thing. But it was all just one flat color, whatever. It's something the whole crew came together and were really passionate about and did an amazing job with. No, you didn't. You did I want to say, you brought us a C minus. You didn't do an amazing job. You did a job. Newsarama. The Glimmer portion felt very Cowboy Bebop. Did you take any inspiration from that anime? No. That should be the answer. That's what you should have said. It looked nothing like Cowboy Bebop. It looked more like kind of like Cutie Honey. That's an old school anime. And kind of like maybe some Gruger Login, maybe a little Kill la Kill, but not really Cowboy Bebop. I mean, whatever. Stevenson, it's somewhere between Cowboy Bebop and James Bond. No, it's not. She has this version of herself as this stone cold badass, where everyone else sees her as an adorable glittery princess, and she sees herself as super cool. That part was really fun. Do you really think everyone else, so Bo, Adora, all her friends see her as a glittery princess? I thought they saw her as she was made commander, right? So you're admitting that the other characters have no respect for her? And what about body positivity? I brought this up in the episode. Glimmer is no beauty queen. She's a purple pear, pretty much. That's what her entire body shape is. So in her fantasy, she's fit. She has curves. She's cute. She looks good. So she wants herself to be like she fantasizes herself as this beautiful woman, but she's not. So what happened to the body positivity where she accepted herself for her body type and everything? So what are you trying to say here, Stevenson? You're trying to say that the other characters don't respect her and she has no body positivity. Good job. You did it, Stevenson. You figured it out. Newsarama. Is there something in particular you're proud of this season? A character arc or an episode? What character arcs? There were 7 episodes and they were all throwaway. What could you possibly be proud of? Stevenson. Overall, I'm proud of that this season. Okay. Overall, I'm proud of that this was a season where me and my crew really figured out our rhythm. What? Having an okay episode and sprinkling in stupid jokes every 5 seconds? Our rhythm about where we're passionate about the show and how to make the show we were envisioning. Oh God, if this season 2 is what they were envisioning and they think they knocked it out of the park, I'm worried for every season after this. If this was the pinnacle, my God, I guess we don't have far to fall because they didn't climb very high. And things were really coming together. Honestly, each episode I'm proud of, and I think they're just getting better and better. No. It's just been so much fun to explore these characters even more, exploring their relationships with each other, exploring more pairings that you may not have thought of. She's like literally bringing up, is this shipping crap? Like Scorpia and Seahawk, overall, I'm just pleased with all of them. What a crappy answer. There's like, I love all my children. Come on, you have a favorite. Why not just say, you know what, I really, in episode 6, the dynamic between Shadow Weaver and Catra, how Shadow Weaver manipulated her, used her feelings against her. I thought that was a really strong character episode. No, she has to do the generic, I love everybody. And Scorpia and Seahawk, I think they would actually make a better couple because they both are kind of silly idiots. They have good hearts, but they're just really out there and very loud and brash. I actually think they would actually work way better together, but whatever. Moving on. Newsarama. It was nice to see more of Scorpia this season. Is her dynamic, again, freaking dynamic, with Catra going to be a bigger part of the show? Her relationship with Catra would be a bigger part of the show? Are we going to see more backstory with her? Stevenson. Absolutely. Scorpia is one of our favorite characters. She's just so sweet and lovely. I think we really feel empathetic towards her. Her intense crush on Catra is something that does come more into the forefront this season. You mean out of completely nowhere? Because it was not in season 1. Someone point out the point where you thought, oh yeah, she totally has a crush on her. No, she was just a big lovey-dovey big sister who hugged everyone and was nice to everyone. You could have said she had a crush on any of the characters if that was the standard to go by. It is something that is a real big deal for her, and we can continue to explore that. Yeah, you think it's a big deal for her talking about their fates are intertwined, and that's crazy talk. You don't want to be with someone like that. That's someone who's going to, like, I don't know, tie you up in the basement and like, oh, you're going to be with me forever. It's a little intense. And personally, I don't think for the characters themselves, Catra doesn't need that intense kind of relationship right now. She's all kinds of effed up. She doesn't need someone who's going to like treat her like a goddess. She needs someone who's going to treat her like a person and understand her for who she is and not just love everything she does and say yes to everything. That's something Scorpia would do. She would just agree with everything she says. But yeah, I don't really see. Here's a follow-up question I would have asked. How old is Scorpia and how old is Catra? Because it is portrayed, just because the way the characters act and look, and that Catra is a teenager, 14, 15, 16 maybe, and Scorpia is a woman, so probably like in her 20s. So this is a very inappropriate attraction. You swap the genders. Scorpia is Scorpion and is not from Mortal Kombat, but just a male character, an older male character saying things like their souls are intertwined with the teenage girl. Yeah, there would be an absolute S-storm all over Twitter for that. But, you know, it's okay when it's two girls, so she can be perfect for that. And they finish up the interview here. Newsarama, what can you tease about what's coming next? Stevenson, I think the best tease for next season is the in-universe clues that the characters find, which is the Serenia portal Mara. Again, now I forgot the name of that stupid thing, but it's Serenia. There is definitely some cool mythology and the world building, the things that come up around that. So another non-answer, but that finishes this commercial that was disguised as an interview. We learned some stuff. We learned that, some people in the comments were, oh, I really think Scorpia just wants to be Catra's friend. So that's completely blown out of the water, because Stevenson said her crush. You don't have crushes to be someone's friend. If you do, I don't know, talk to your school counselor or talk to an older relative. That's weird. You don't have crushes to be someone's friend. So that's guaranteed blown out of the water. Again, just talking. This is kind of just such a non-interview. We really don't learn anything. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to cover this because it was brought to my attention, and it just goes to show you that, you know, Steven, this wasn't a real interview. I'm pretty sure everything was scripted out. I don't even want to bet if this was just a correspondence, that they didn't actually sit down with her. But we have there's a chapter book that came out, and I guess it's like a little kid book. It's only like $5. I'll probably pick it up and just run through it. It's supposed to take place between the first 2 episodes of season 1, so I guess it's supposed to explore the characters more according to the description. But I'll get that next week when I get paid, and then if it's worth doing a video on, I'll do a video on it. If not, then I'm out $4, whatever. But there's that graphic novel that's not going to come out till next year, and she says seasons, so there's going to be more She-Ra, and they're going to have more videos, and they're going to have more me being brutally honest and liking the things I like and hating the things I hate. But thanks for checking this out. Again, if there's any other news stories, things you want me to check out, you can hit me up on Twitter at C15 Podcast. There is the Discord and link description below. There's an email on the About page. So there's lots of ways to contact me. If you have something you think it's worthy of me doing a video on, or us in the podcast doing it, just let us know. And thanks for watching, guys. Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15 Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.